going to talk to you guys about the session types, availability, and the booking session and how they work and function together as one. So the very first thing you want to do is make sure you have all of your session types created and stored in here within your sessions account. Now, the public session types, and you can, so how you set them as public versus private is whenever you're creating them down here, public, or you have the option to make it private. So public session types are available on the booking site. So what this means is it will show these packages available on my booking site, which means clients have the option to book themselves. So it will not come in as an inquiry. They can come directly to my booking site and book their own session with that. They choose their own date and time, sign their contract, pay their retainer, all of that stuff on their own. So for that purpose, I do not publicly display my booking site because I don't want them to be able to do that. But I don't want them to be able to do that until after I have spoke with them. So even though these are public, I don't publicly post this link to my booking site because once I've received their inquiry and we've chatted about all the details and it's a job that I want to take on, I say, okay, looking forward to working together, use this link to book your session. And at that point, I then send them to my booking site, which then allows them to pick their session type that they want to book. And then they can pick their date and their time and see my availability for these sessions only and go through and do all of that on their own. So that is why and why I have it set up the way I do. So I don't just post this link on Facebook or on my website. They have to reach out to me and send me an inquiry first. We have to talk about all their details, make sure it's somebody I want to work with, make sure it's a job that I'm able to do, it's a service that I offer. And then at that point I say, okay, book your session by using this link. And they pick their session type and they go through all of the steps of picking their date and time, answering a questionnaire, signing a contract, and making their payment for their retainer. Now, for private, these do not display on the booking sites. So these are things that I use either behind the scenes or I will personally send them to just this specific thing if they want to inquire about it and so forth. But so these are things I don't want people to see on my booking site, but yet they are still things that I offer and that I need to work with. So for example, I have my 3 wedding packages that I offer here. I have a bridal phone chat and a complimentary engagement session and a consultation. So I use all of these session types for my wedding bookings, but I don't want someone to be able to book themselves for their wedding without talking to me first. So with that being said, these are set to private. They are not in an availability group. I'll show you that in a minute. So therefore, they come to me as an inquiry. So how I have this set up on my website is with these individual links here. Oh wait, sorry, here, these 3 links. I have 3 buttons on my website. So when clients come to me, they can go to contact wedding, ready to inquire about your dream wedding photos. They can pick which package they're interested in. If they change their mind, I can change this later. So we're going to go here. Now they're going to give me their wedding date. Say it's, May 20th. And they will put in all their information. They will answer their booking or their inquiry questionnaire. And then they can send me a message and then they can submit the inquiry. Okay, so this is how they are going to inquire about a wedding. So then once I get this, I email them to respond the same way I would do for any of my other portrait sessions. And then I, once they say, okay, we for sure want to book you, I say, okay, great. And I send them the link to this package right here. And they can directly, so now here they're actually going to be booking their session, if that makes sense. So now that, so we have those set up, and then the same thing goes for the complimentary engagement session. I don't want just anybody to be able to book an engagement session that is free, okay, because they're not free to everybody. They're only free to the people who book that 10-hour package. So within their confirmation email, let me see here. Within their confirmation email for this package. So whoever books that 10-hour wedding package, after they booked it, they're going to get an email with this information. And right here, book your free engagement session. And this is linked to that direct session type link. So they're the only ones who, the only people who ever see this link for that free engagement session are the people who book that 10-hour package. And that is why I leave that engagement session down here in the private section, so that not everybody can just book it. So we can go into more details about that kind of extensive setup if you want at a later time, but that's the difference between private and public. So when I go to my booking site, you see I have family sessions, couple sessions, maternity, newborn, milestone, senior, and I have gift cards turned on. There's no wedding options because those weddings are in the private section. Okay, so this is what you send people when they are ready to book, meaning they want to sign a contract and they want to pay a retainer. Okay, so now let's go from there. We have all of our session types set up. Now we are going to go into the availability. The availability is very important because all of those public session types that are displaying on your booking site, this will provide them when you're available for what session types. So, for example, my bridal phone chats and my consultations, I like to do in the morning. So those are only available Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't do them on Sundays. You notice most of them are in the morning, but I do throw in a couple 6 p.m.s just in case, because I know some people with work and stuff can't do a morning. So when someone goes to book that bridal phone chat or that bridal consultation, these are the only dates and times it's going to show them as of being available. Now, it also tells me that they're set to private and will not display on my booking site. Again, so somebody cannot book one of these without getting that one specific link directly from me. It's not on my booking site. So again, so like here, you'll see that it shows unavailable. Okay, let me show you how I have this one set up so you can kind of see the difference. So here it lists all of my session types that I have. So here is where, for this specific group, I have that bridal phone chat and that consultation in here. And these are set regular start times every single week. So I have those up here, and then you'll see it displays it down here for me too. Okay, now let's go back to this one. So this is more of my regular session types, like what I do the most of, I guess. These, so how I have these selected are like my evening sessions. So here's all of my session types. Anything I want to offer in the evenings, I've selected. So like my families, couples, maternity and newborn bundle, the Grow With Me package, milestones, headshots, mentorships, even the complimentary engagement session. Because even though that was private, when they do go to book that, I want them, I like to do golden hour sessions. So it's going to be evenings that I want to do those types of sessions. And so forth, senior portraits and stuff. So this group, so to speak, if I had to name it, it would be golden hour times. So anything I have selected up here, this is going to be the options that they have to book those times. Now notice this is empty here because with the sunset changing, I don't have regular start times every single week. You'll see, like, so here I have a 4 and a 5 p.m., but then here is time change. So then my times change to 5:30 and 6:30. So the times all change. So that's why this up here is blank. They are not the same regular start times. And how you go about setting this up is you just select the date, however many days you want, whatever days, doesn't matter. And then you click set start times and then you type it in. So like say sunset is 8 p.m. So that means I want a 7 o'clock session and a 6 o'clock session. So I just type in 6 p.m. and then I type in 7 p.m. Now, when on the client's end, when they're trying to book one of these sessions, it will only give them a 6 p.m. and a 7 p.m. time to choose from. It will not show them 6:30, 6:45, 7:30, or 7:45. It'll only show those two times there, which is good because I like my sessions to be set on those specific hours. Like I don't want a session to start at 7:45. I want, like I have the 5:30s down here and that's just according to sunset time, but I want them in 1 hour increments. So that's how you would set up those specific times based on the sunset. I'm just going to clear those because I don't actually want them to save. So there is that one. This is the same with those reoccurring times. So now down here, inquiries. These are all the session types that I am receiving inquiries for. So my newborn sessions, my weddings, you can see my Grow With Me. The bundles I have set up in a completely different way, so we won't get into bundles. But that contact page, how they contact me, that I have like a demo contact page that's set up there. And that's something old that I could delete. But so this is how I know what packages are going to come to me as an inquiry. And that means they're set up as inquiries because I did not include them in any of these packages. So if I would have selected wedding 6 hour up here somewhere, it would not be showing down here. So these inquiries are pretty much any session types that you do not put into an availability group. Then if they click on that to, if it is, like, let me show you, for example. So someone inquired about a newborn session. So I said, okay, go ahead and, let's work together. Use this link to book your newborn session. Well, as you can see, where'd it go? My newborns, even though they are public on this booking site, somebody can come in and book it. I do not have it under an availability because newborns are just there's no exact date. But I still want them to put in a date so that they're on my calendar and like in the back of my brain, like, okay, this mom is going to be due anytime, so I just keep that in the back of my head that I have that coming up. So it's not in an availability group, but it is public. See how it doesn't say like private next to it? It is public, so it's on my booking site. So when they click newborn, they can come in, enter their information, significant other's full name. Oh wait, did I sorry, that was the wrong one. So here they select, I sent them that booking site link. They're in there, they click newborn. It gives them all their information. Now I've already told them to select their due date. So let's say I'm due on June 3rd. Okay, so here's June 3rd. Now they can send me their information. submit the inquiry. And so now I have them in sessions under this here. And then once they tell me that they have, oh, the baby was born, we went over, it's now June 6th and the baby was born. So then I can go back and say, okay, so the baby was born on the 6th. I like to photograph between like 10 and 16 days. So then I could say, okay, are you available on the 17th? And then if they say yes, let's do the 17th. Okay, here's the 17th. I put in whatever time we discuss, and then I send them their booking link that they actually booked the session. So I do newborns a little bit different just because of that reason, but it's still available for them to choose. So, but it does come in as an inquiry just because there's not an exact date. I hope that makes sense. Down here with the booking limits, your time zone, obviously make sure that's set accurately. Gaps between sessions, I have it set at 0 only because I do have these set up the way that I did up here, and I have them already set in 1 hour increments, so I don't need an extra 30 minutes between sessions. So if I had this set up for like say 10-minute gap, if someone booked that, if I have a spot in my availability for 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. and somebody books that 6 p.m., it's not going to let anybody else book that 7 p.m. because now it's going to say they need 70 minutes. They're going to need their 60-minute session time plus another 10. So it's going to say I'm no longer available at 7 o'clock, or else my sessions would overlap. So that's why I have this set up at 0. But if you use like this general availability for all of your sessions, then maybe you want to set this for 30 minutes so that it does allow for that time in between sessions. So that's completely preference. Lead time required 2 days. That means somebody can't, if they say, oh, I want to book you, and I send them that booking site, well, then they don't do it right away. And then say it's like a month later, they come back and try to book on that. They go back to that link and say, okay, I'm ready to book now. They can't book me for like today or tomorrow. They need to give me at least a 2-day notice. So that's what I have that set to. Clients can book 1 year into the future. I accept wedding bookings up to 1 year. So that's why I have that one set up so far. And then maximum, I just have until I'm fully booked, since I really have my times narrowed down in my availability. So, yeah, that's kind of all of this and how I have it set up and why I have it set up. I hope that wasn't too much or confusing. That's just the best way I can explain it. And that's kind of how these things work with your booking site and with your session types. So again, if you have any questions on that, please let me know. I know this is like a lot of information, but I'm hoping that it's helping you in some way.